Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's StepsBasic, and welcome back to the Comfy Cozy Community Show. Oh my god, that one was beautiful. I gotta do that one more often. And then he promptly forgets. But anyway, that's not what's important. What's important is, welcome. Question of the day. Do you watch/listen to podcasts on the regular? And if so, which ones are your favorites? So today, yes, that's right, today is tying into a little-known podcast that I enjoy when I'm on my walks every day. I go for a walk every day between 4 and 5 miles, 3 if I'm feeling especially lazy, and 6 if I'm stupid. But I go for a walk every day and I listen to these podcasts. And a little while ago, this little-known podcast called the Distractible Podcast put out an episode talking about the 7 wonders of the world, except they were going for the 7 wonders of the modern world. Now, of course, I don't hate these 7 wonders. They're pretty good and they did an all right job, but they're stupid, so I gotta tell you about it. It's not true, they're not stupid. I'm just joking. Anyway, but I fixed their episode, so to speak, with an episode I'm calling the 7 modern marvels of the world that mankind created or had a hand in, and possibly 5 because I am stealing a couple off of them. But anyway, so yes, a little known podcast by 3 little-known YouTube/Twitch streamers, Marcus, Bobus, and Watus. And so there was that. And I was thinking they had some good points. Specifically, one of them, Wade, talked about this International Space Station. Now, I think, to me, obviously a modern marvel, not a wonder of the world, technically, but it's a modern marvel, but not just because of what it is, but what it represents. The ISS, or the International Space Station, is a space station that the world put together and threw up into the outer space and collaborated on. We got different countries up there living. What countries live in the ISS? My bad. I got to check this out. I am so prepared. I did all of my research. So, ISS countries. Why is it in French? That's all right. So we have 19 different countries. We have China, Russia, US, Japan, UK, Germany, Belgium, Spain, Sweden, Canada, Denmark, Italy, Norway, France, Switzerland, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Australia, Finland, Hungary, Brazil, Mexico, and South Korea. Wow. Really? All of those countries in the International Space Station? Yeah, cool. It was a cooperative program between Europe and all that stuff. That's pretty cool, though. I like that. Oh, I've got my French keyboard on. That's why. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, but all of those countries working together to put a space station and people in space is just fantastic. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest collaborative efforts that humanity has ever done. Now, of course, I don't know all of the details about it. All I know is shiny thing in sky make people go happy. Because I'm dumb sometimes. But I do love the idea of what that represents. And it's wicked cool. Another one that got cut off of the list was the internet. And this, to me, again, is less about the what it is and more about what it represents. Because one can easily say the internet is far more impressive than we give it credit for, because it has access to all of the information and all of the knowledge of the world. But of course, what it represents more is the connection of the world. Because as much as the rest of the world likes to give America like heck for being up its own butt, because, you know, not everywhere is America, so to speak, but the rest of the world also needs to see it that way too. The United States is not the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is not the United States. So we can look onto the internet and we can connect with people from Russia, well, maybe not Russia, but from the UK, from Germany, from Africa, from South America, from Canada even, all the way up there in Canada. We can talk to people who have different life experiences, different cultures, different food. And you know me, I love my food. But we can get recipes from any part of the world that has internet access and people who are willing to share it. But yeah, we can do all of that thanks to the internet. So it's not even the internet itself, but much like the ISS, it is a symbol of unity, symbol of us coming together and becoming one people. Sorry. The emotions got me choked up. But anyway, that's the internet. And that one got cut off their list too, which I think is stupid and it should be on there. Okay, so now this is an interesting one that I expected them to honestly have, but they didn't have on their list, was the Spruce Goose, which for those of you who don't know, was world's largest aircraft made of only wood. And I think it flew for a grand total of 15 minutes. There was even a cartoon about it where it was all magical and stuff. And let's see if I can look this up too. The Spruce Goose, Hughes H-4 Hercules flight. The largest wooden airplane ever built. 6 times large. No, thank. Go away. 6 times larger than any aircraft of its time. The Spruce Goose, also known as the Hughes Flying Boat, is made entirely of wood and flew just one time in Long Beach, California. I asked how long did it fly. I want to know how long. How long? 30 seconds. I was completely wrong. I said 15 minutes, but it was airborne for 30 seconds, 25 feet above the harbor, just under half a mile. Wow. That's impressive, isn't it? They made this wooden airplane fly. And that thing is massive, too. How big is it? I don't think it's like the biggest airplane, but it's definitely the biggest one made of wood. How big Spruce Goose? When empty, the Spruce Goose weighs 300,000 pounds. At takeoff, it was 400,000 pounds. I was looking more for dimension, not... Oh God, I'm going to the evergreenmuseum.org. 1 second. No, I don't want to donate. I don't have any money. I'm poor. Just under 219 feet long. That's a big boy. I tell you what. Yeah, the 747 is actually about 13 feet longer than the Spruce Goose, but, you know, it's not made of wood, so, you know, there you go. Suck it, 747. So that was pretty fancy. I like that one. Recently, we, another, I'd say, modern marvel is something we've been working on for a while, and we actually made it a viable option, was actually cold fusion, which I think is kind of interesting. Let's see if I can explain in layman's terms what cold fusion is. I tell you, I keep going to the Google to find all the answers to these things. Define cold fusion. All right. Let's see. Nuclear fusion occurring at or close to room temperature. Claims for its discovery in 1989 generally held have been mistaken. I don't care. What is cold fusion in simple terms? There we go. Nuclear fusion at room temperature or normal pressure. Nuclear fusion is how many nuclei at the center of an atom containing protons, neutrons are forced together to form heavier nucleus, singular nuclei, and during that process energy is released, i.e. this is a method of creating energy. And before now, it was always not cost effective. It didn't produce enough energy for the amount of energy that was put into it, i.e. we put so much energy and got just a little bit back. So therefore, it was not cost effective to be used as an effective form of energy. And recently, we actually had a small difference on that. We had a input this much, got back this much. Just a little bit more than we had before. And that was the important part, because that shows progress. And it is purported to be clean and powerful. So we want something that's going to be better than what we have, i.e. burning fossil fuels, and better than the proposed solutions, i.e. Solar/wind power, which produces a decent enough energy, but not to the point where it can be as effective as we want it to be. You know what I mean? I'm obviously not a power scientist, dude. I don't know what they call this. An energyologist? A joulologist. Joule-ologist. Joulologist. Measurement of power. But anyway, I'm not one of those, so I can't explain it to you. That's for a smarter person than me. But yeah. I think cold fusion is a modern marvel, and coming to the conclusion that we can actually work with it, get back more than we put into it, is a good step in the right direction. Which also leads us to another one that's a little bit like where we have nuclear power, which derived from, unfortunately, a bad place, i.e. the nuclear weaponry, or one of them came from the other, but I don't know which one. But it gave us a pretty bad thing, like the Fat Boy, which was well, let's just say it's a pretty darn impressive bomb, despite the horrors it inflicted. Even though I will say it was America that inflicted said horrors, not said bomb, but said bomb existed. So yeah. And I don't know if the yield is... I think the Moab kind of constitutes as the biggest non-nuclear weapon. But then there's the Fat Boy, which was, of course, the nuclear weapon. But, of course, nuclear power itself, because of that, and because of things like 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, has developed a bad rap, despite the fact that it is one of the cleaner and easily manageable forms of energy that we can get. I.e., it gives a good output, it's clean and effective, as it were. Of course, we're all scared of it because we've seen the damage that it can do, which also leads me into my next one, where they were talking about our disappointment in ourselves. And I'm like, yes, I kind of agree that the ability for mankind to disappoint us is very high, because if you're a fan of history, you know that no one is without sin in the world. Every single civilization from the dawn of time to now is responsible for some atrocities of some unknown or known factor. And we have seen some pretty nasty things, from things we do to ourselves to things we do to the place we live to things we even do to space. We have seen some pretty bad things. But of course, at the same time, the ability to disappoint ourselves, to disappoint and horrify ourselves in some ways, is also paralleled by the ability to which we the ability to which we can overcome our flaws and become better. Because despite what I said, where from the dawn of time to modern societies, we've seen so many horrific tragedies and occurrences happen, we've also seen so many great things happen. And a lot of times it's us cleaning up our mess, which, we have to do. But at the same time, some of it's not. Some of it's trying to prepare for worse things in the future, and where we can go from here, as it were. And I think that's pretty important and pretty impressive. But yeah, there we go. I think that was 7. Disappointment, but also impressed by how well we recover. I think those are both marvelous, as it were, looking at. I don't know if you can really count those as modern marvels, but I'm going to anyway. So suck it up. Make your own video. If you don't like it, you can at me in it. But anyway, apart from that, I have no comments from last video, other than it seemed that like a lot of people really liked my review of Spider-Man. I liked it. It was a really good game. But anyway, apart from that, on to announcements. We have begun Resident Evil 0. I am currently in the last section of the game, even though you've only seen 4 episodes of it. I have 6 more waiting in the wings now. Breathage is moving along nicely. I'm at the end of the game there. I'm kind of disappointed in where it went, because now I don't have my base or my car or Scooty anymore, and that disappoints me. But we're in the new area, and the new area is kind of neat. And but yeah, apart from all that, no more no more announcements for today. That's gonna be it for me for today. Thank you all so much for joining me for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, poke that like button for me. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, as always, you're more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. When I can, if I can, you know all that jazz. And tune in next time for another topic and another time. And until then, good night.